Hey, hello there, and welcome to Talking with Tony. Today, we welcome back Danny Arp, and we're not going to talk about the negatives. We're going to talk about the positives. Last time Danny sat in here with us, he did better than anybody else, any other guest picker has done that week. We do call him our football expert, but he put up great numbers, and I hope that he will be able to duplicate that today. Do you feel like you have another? Because you came in, I don't know, I think you were eight under 500 or so, and then you ended up
Yeah.
being 500 when you came out there. You just exploded in a great week. I believe you're three under 500 again right now. But like we said, we're not going to focus on the negatives. Let's talk about the positives.
I think the positives are it was a pretty good week last week. It sort of started trending to where we want it, or you can make at least a little better educated guess and start seeing what everybody's got. Vegas had their way for about 2 weeks there, man. It was crazy. And luckily, I guess I came out on the good side of that picking. But this week it was a little harder to make the picks this week for me. I mean, I'm not riding as high, which maybe that'll translate into some decent results.
And the panel may have looked at the picks this week, Danny, and said, now, why does he have UCLA and Michigan State on here? I thought it would just be an opportunity to see that old school Bruin that I like so much, that bear that, Jake puts up leaning against. And sure enough, three, four people have obliged of the panel and went ahead and selected that. So I'm happy about that. First things first, I'm going to go right before we get into the picks because I don't have much. I'm going to go ahead and reveal my picks. I've only got three. So we'll go ahead and just reveal my picks right now. Put Jake immediately to work. I'm 13 and 12 on the season, which sounds bad, but with this group, it is outstanding. My five stars are 5 and 1. I have done really well with the five star. My five-star selection this week is Texas, -3. Last week, I gave the Gators against Texas. And I basically said, hey, this is their final stand. This is it. This is the last stand for them. They must win. I feel the same way about Texas right now, especially with that game that they still have to play at UGA. So Texas -3. I'm going to put the five-star on it. I will tell you there is one other member of the panel who agrees with me and took Texas, and the other four have Oklahoma. We'll get to that panel member shortly. I'm also going to take the Indiana Hoosiers +7.5 at Oregon. Look, I've talked up Indiana all year long, so I found it like you can't really get off of the boat right now, So we've been sailing along, sailing along. I started to skip it, but I have decided to go in with the Hoosiers. I hope they do better than they was like 15 years ago they played there, maybe even more, maybe 17, 18 years ago. It was like
Mhm.
really ugly. And then I'm going to give you one NFL game. The Raiders coming off being just blown out. I hope for their sakes, and we all like Brock Bowers and the Raiders. I hope they circle the wagons and they come up with a W, but they only were able to get two Daniel Carlson field goals most recently in their blowout loss to the Colts. So I'm going to go with the Titans +6. The Titans aren't exactly good themselves. Two bad football teams
Mhm.
right now playing each other. I'm hoping for a close game. So those are my three picks. My five star is Texas -3, 5 and 1 in those five stars, and then I'll go with Indiana +7.5, one NFL selection, and the Titans +6. Danny, we've got 10 selections, or yeah, 10 selections to discuss with you today. I know, just like me, you love the South's oldest rivalry. There's good memories for both of us on this. This is a series that's been dominated by Georgia of late. If you go back about 15 years, you'd see that Auburn was leading at the time in the overall series. But really, Kirby Smart has just, it's almost like he takes offense to Brad Lester was the running back who kind of ran
Mhm.
over him back in the college days one time. And it's almost like he takes that personally and just says, all right, we're beating them every single year, including a year where you came down here and the Dogs trounced Auburn. I do believe, I mean, I don't want your selection in that game yet. I do believe that's going to be a good game. Georgia may very well win. Daniel Cummins, who was on last week, of my film critic, who's a Auburn grad, and he lives in Dallas, Texas. He said between 10 and 17 points. He thought Georgia would win. I believe he said it was either that or 14-17. I do believe Auburn's defense keeps them in the game for a while. Their defense is outstanding. They're going to have to find more offensive opportunities, get Cam Coleman more touches, and just be able to run the football as well if Auburn is going to have success.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's a great rivalry. Has gone. We've been to plenty of them. I know you and I have been, way, way back. Like you said, I went down and took the kids and watched the real embarrassing win we had. Of course, there's been plenty of embarrassing losses for us in Athens that I've sat through. Um, and I did tell you, I think at the beginning of the season, we discussed some of our, wild card games. I mean, and I thought this was one. Actually, I thought I was big on Auburn being better this year, and I think you are better. Maybe, a couple of the games just you gave them away. It seemed like you could have, gave the victory away. And I'm hoping that I think it'll be a very close game. And I'm hoping that it's not one of those where you figure it out and we end up on the short end here. But going to Auburn used to be a really nerve-wracking position for a Georgia fan, and I feel like this year is another one of those years we better be worried, be ready to go.
I can see you worried, but also I can see if it's problematic at halftime. I don't think there's a coaching staff or a coach in Kirby Smart that makes better second half adjustments. I've seen it through the years. I've seen him just not panic being down at halftime, and I think he gets those guys not to panic as well. And I appreciate the fact that Alabama won. That didn't shock me that Bama won that game. And the reason that it didn't shock me is I'm a numbers guy. Georgia was favored by 2.5 points, and Georgia was ranked like number 5 at home against number 17 Alabama. I like to say the boys in Vegas know more about the football teams than those head coaches know about their
Yeah,
football teams. And that line just does not add up. If that was anybody else, 5 versus 17, the number 5 team being at home, number 5 be favored by like 9 points. Okay.
yeah,
So as soon as I saw that line, I said, that is too much respect for Alabama. I'm staying away from it. The panel all took hook, line, and sinker, man, went in for the Bulldogs. But that's Alabama and Georgia. Kirby still had his team in position to win that football game. It was a decision there in the fourth quarter to go for it on fourth down. I wanted to see how you feel about that. I believe they went quick and they tried to get the first down. How'd you feel about that?
but I hated it, man. I mean, I hated it. I go back to 2012 against Bama, sitting in the dome, watching, Mark Richt try to outsmart himself and not take the spike and try to get the hurry up play on Alabama. I honestly think they just practice those situations, and they're such a disciplined team in those short field situations and have the athletes, they're going to out athlete you. You don't have a lot of space to get cash out in space. And they tried, and it was just I just didn't like it. I mean, I respect his call. You can't argue 33 wins in a row at home. I mean, I understand he feels like he had the opportunity to go for it and just put them away there. But man, you take the points at home and play for overtime, man. That's what I say. But
I
it
think
is what it
for
is. Maybe they learned something. And Alabama is a good team, I think.
they're a lot better than they showed against Florida
Very
State.
good team. Yeah.
I'll say this too. I think the player that I really fear on UGA squad, I still think he's had a quiet season, and I still think his best football is Branch. Is still to play.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it was Bowers, and that was, of course, I say Auburn wins that game if they don't think Brock Bowers, if they didn't realize Brock Bowers was an eligible receiver all those times because he just made everything happen for Georgia when they absolutely needed him third and longs. Branch is a playmaker, and he can hurt you in a lot of different ways. He can hurt you from the offensive side, and he can hurt you in special teams. And I think that he's been creepily quiet. So I am very nervous as an Auburn person for Branch in that game. And I'll say for Auburn, I know that people are frustrated. You got a guy who was really the backup running back, leads the SEC in carries of more than 40 yards per rush in Cobb. You got to give that kid touches as well. I mean, he makes things happen when he gets the ball. Austin is the starter and was the starter coming in, but you're going to have there are things to address in the Auburn program right now, and the play calling has just been absolutely horrendous, including the play calling on the final 3 drives, I believe it was, at A&M. They didn't run the ball at all. They went 3 and out with 3 passes, 4 and out with 4 passes. And then on third down and one, with still a timeout in your pocket, and the clock stops for the first down, and A&M rushing only 3 people, Auburn throws an incomplete pass and gives up a sack, I believe. And the incomplete pass was about 10 yards behind the receiver. So play calling it needs to be addressed here in Auburn. Danny, I need you to make some picks. And right off the bat, I got to tell you, you make me happy because UCLA is plus 7.5 at Michigan State. And here's an opportunity. This is one of those, as John Perkison, our very own John Perkison would say, this is one of those classic Big Ten matchups, is what he would say. Uh, I love the fact what you're doing here. You're going with the Bruins plus 7.5, so Jake has to throw up that old school Bruin leaning on the sign that I like so much.
Look, the Bruins are, they've had a horrible start, obviously. Maybe adjusting to the all the attention they get with their superstar quarterback. And we've made fun of Nico over the years on this show, but I mean, what he did at Penn, in that Penn State game was what everybody sort of expected him to be able to do. Um, you know,
Was it a confluence of
scored
events?
5 times, ran for 128 yards. He's got what? I think he had 7 plays of over 20 yards in that game. So either Penn State just went insane, or maybe they figured out a little something. And I'm riding on the maybe and those 7.5 points.
Danny, I think it was a confluence of events, and I think travel played a role in that. But I believe Penn State came off a very physical football game with Oregon, not just emotions, but just physical and low scoring defensive battle until the fourth quarter. I think they weren't recovered from that. Then toss in, you got to go all the way out west, and I think people are underappreciating the significance of the Big Ten travel. Or look at what Stanford and Cal has to do coming over to
Yeah.
play the ACC and all. The money might be great with the television contracts and the media things and all, but I think it's taking a toll on some of these programs.
I think when I was picking and looking at the lineup you have here, I've done better in the Big Ten school picks than any other one so far. But number two, I wonder if we're on the wrong side of this thing because, with the travel this week, if it is indeed a problem, then I've picked a couple of them that are going to have to make pretty big trips.
Well, it's a little more of a here difficult, I think, for UCLA because they'll be playing at 9 a.m. their time. That's a
That's
noon Eastern kickoff.
yeah,
You
it's
have
going to
every
be
right to go
interesting.
ahead and say, "Hey, Jimmy Sparty, and take off that good-looking Bruin if you want to." But
We'll
I've
see.
always heard in Vegas, your first instinct is your best, and
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
usually
like
wins.
that. And that was definitely my first instinct. And again, I think
Okay,
coming off of what we saw last week, Michigan State they got some issues.
yeah. Oh, they got
They,
issues, all right. They
they
got
got,
defensive
they,
issues,
they
especially.
got some. So I like it. I think we're on the right side. I like the pick in the points.
All right, we're sticking with those Bruins plus 7.5. Alabama and Missouri play at noon on Saturday in Columbia, Missouri. Big game, one of the biggest I would think ever for the University of Missouri. Now, look, this is a team that I think has exceeded expectations this year because they lost a lot of people. Their schedule's kind of friendly. This is obviously one of their tougher opponents. They're catching 3.5 here. Does Missouri stay close, or does Bama pull out victory here?
I mean, that's one of those lines that you were talking about that seems a little odd. But I think where Bama was and the win they did have, big game against Vanderbilt, it was close for a while and then they pulled away. I was impressed with that. I mean, I honestly thought getting down to Vanderbilt they would lose, and I think they're starting to build a little cohesion with their team. I mean, Ty Simpson's looking pretty good actually. You know his name, Ty Simpson.
That's it. He looks outstanding. He's one of the Heisman
I mean, the
frontrunners right
name
now.
should bother you, right? I mean, Ty Simpson from the University of Alabama. I can't stand those guys, but I mean, I gotta admit they got a good looking team. You know, I hate them. So this is my 5-star pick, Tony. I'm going Alabama. Plus, I mean, minus 3.5. I
And
don't think Missouri
Danny's
keeps it close at all. No, to answer your question, I think it's going to be one of those. Here comes Alabama to town, and they're going to shut that stadium down real quickly because it that Faroe Field, or however you call it, gets
that
crazy.
is
We play
correct.
terrible out there, but
And Alabama has played very well out there when they have had to go there. So Danny's 3-3 with his 5 stars, and he's going to roll the dice with the Crimson
I'm
Tide
getting
minus two
above
and a half.
500, man. That's it.
And we don't see enough of the Cotton Bowl, the original Cotton Bowl stadium, but we do for this Oklahoma Texas game. It's in Dallas. Texas State Fair is going on. Longhorns need this game coming off a tough loss for them at Florida. Arch Manning does too, and we'll see what he's made of. Oklahoma comes in. You know, you look at the records and should be thinking Oklahoma's favorite. So here's another one of these situations where the boys in Vegas have Texas favored by 3, but I like Texas in this matchup. I still like their defense. I think Auburn should have beat Oklahoma. People can gripe about calls and such, but I think Texas gets the job done here, and that's why I chose it as my 5 star. I do need to tell you though that Kevin has got Oklahoma +3 as his 5 star. He's 2-4 with his 5 stars, and this is the 2 year anniversary of our own John Perkison picking the exact score. It was like 23-20 or 24-21, something like that. He nailed the score on the preview, so we want to acknowledge that. But Danny, who do you like?
I'm with you. I think Auburn, I would have really loved to have seen Auburn beat Oklahoma. I thought that was, I think I actually picked them that week. I thought that was going to be one of your premier wins that you needed. I think Oklahoma's weaknesses is if you saw in that game, there were a lot of little quick, 10, 12-yard passes that were very effective. And that may be something that they can get Manning to settle into. I don't know. He's not been effective downfield at all. He's at home. Well, actually, they're at the Jerry World, aren't they? Not at home. It's the
Are they playing at Jerry World? I thought they were playing at the old stadium, the
they're
old
playing at
Cotton
the
Bowl
old
Stadium.
stadium. Yeah, the old
Yeah,
the old stadium. Yeah, the
where the
Cotton Bowl.
fairgrounds are. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
We need to take
I don't
Jake
know.
Barton out there and let him get a corn dog out there. That they say everything's fried at that state at that fairground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that because
I mean,
Jake's all.
I'm on Texas. I mean, I do think Texas has the defense to win this game. I mean, it's
I,
not.
and defense travels no matter where you play.
Yep. I just don't see Oklahoma. Mateer's done great for Oklahoma. They have been scoring, but they've also, been allowing some points. And I think that this could be Texas's chance. I'm going to take Texas.
And some people ask, you guys refer to Jake every once in a while. You and I have both mentioned him through the years. Jake's our producer. He does not show himself too much on the air too often. He has once or twice before, but I said that about getting something because he's all into eating healthy and stuff. The guy like lifts biceps and stuff like for 2 hours a day at the gym, but he's all eating healthy. My problem is I haven't seen him for a few weeks now, so I have no protein bars because I get my protein bars from Jake. So I needed like a schedule meeting up with Jake sooner than later. Danny, Michigan and Southern Cal. These two, speaking of the Rose Bowl and the bowl games, we talked Cotton Bowl Stadium earlier. These two teams have faced each other in some great Rose Bowls through the year, but this time it is another one of those classic Big Ten matchups. Now, Michigan and the Trojans. The Trojans are favored by 1.5. This is a big game for both of these teams.
Yeah, I think both teams they can't take a loss. Michigan is playing real well. Just quietly sort of hanging around middle of the pack, getting close to that number 12, magic number 12 number. This could be a game that they could leapfrog them, or it could be the one that just puts them out of it, where they've really been quiet and just mediocre, at least as far as what people are talking about this year. But win this game and all that could change. But I don't see it happening. I don't think they travel. I don't think they can make the trip out. And I'm going to take USC -1.5, and Michigan will just be, it's at 2.
I'm giving the USC,
Oh, you're
that's
giving
what
the
they,
USC. Look, all right.
yeah, the Trojans there.
I'm
Uh,
with you on that one.
Okay. All right. So his selection is Southern Cal -1.5. Indiana is facing Oregon, another Big Ten matchup for you. But this game is huge to all. And I know you have a close friend that's Indiana Hoosier. You and I are the only two on Indiana +7.5. The rest of the panel will have Oregon -7.5. I believe in this Indiana team, Danny.
I think that Mendoza is awesome, man. And I think he's been through a couple of pressure spots this year and overcome it. I do feel like that Indiana is poised to make a statement. They've done this a few years now, right? The last 2 or 3 years had a good little run going, maybe an early loss, and then got on a winning streak. And then, they run up against one of these traditional juggernaut teams. It was Ohio State last time, I think, took them out. Now they got a chance to go and play in Oregon. And I'm with you. I'm going to stay behind them. I've stuck with them. I know my buddies all in. They've scored at will on everybody. So we'll see. Hopefully they can get put up a lot of points and turn this into a leapfrog into making the playoffs. That would be very exciting to me, and certainly I know my buddy Brian would love to see them make the playoffs. And they got to have this one to make it. They just don't carry the name brand. They don't win this, they're probably not getting there unless they win the big somehow.
It's exciting to see what they've done with the program, though, and their home games being just packed and with the crowds. I mean, that's when I went up there to see Ohio State play them 2 years ago, first game of the year. It was Marvin's junior year, which is last year, and he actually got hurt in that game. But it was as many Ohio State fans as there were Indiana fans. But those days right now, those days are done because people are coming out to support the Hoosiers. Um, Georgia and Auburn rounds out our college football picking, and I'll go ahead and give you Danny's picks to pick here because it's everybody else on the panel. I didn't make a pick here, but everybody, including Fred, who's an Auburn grad, has got Georgia minus 3.5, and Daniel, who was the guest on the show last week, stated that that he expects a pretty solid victory for Georgia too. So you can tell us your thought process behind it, but everybody on the panel supports you, and your friend Stormy Weathers goes with his 5-star Georgia Bulldogs minus three and a
Oh my
half.
gosh. He see Kirby, I mean Stormy is gonna be
He's
he'll be
trying to
like
jinx you.
yeah, like 75% taking Georgia on these. Or I hope he's right on that. That's good
He
that he's
is.
going.
Look, he's 9 games under 500 overall, but he's 3-3 with his 5 stars.
Yeah. So that gives me a little hope. You know, I think back to
That
one
would
of the
give
other.
me a little worry.
I mean, I told you I'm worried about this game, man. I don't even like you putting them on here to pick it. But my thought process is that Kirby's going to do what he does, and again, I just think he made the wrong choice against Bama not taking the points, but he kept it close. He's going to keep it. He makes fantastic halftime adjustments. So it would be nice to not get out and get behind. That was a pretty comfortable game this weekend watching Kentucky. Um, but I don't see that. I think it's going to be a close game all the way through, and then Georgia, I think at the end can win it by a touchdown. Uh, maybe they're trailing field goal, score a touchdown and win by 4. I don't know, but I'm definitely thinking a late touchdown by Georgia is what seals the deal on this thing.
Maybe Falk, who's as good as anybody in the conference on the defensive line for Auburn, can disrupt Gunnar Stockton some because they're going to need that. That Auburn defense will
I
certainly
think it
need
was
him.
like
Let's
92 back in Athens. I mean, no, it was in Auburn. We played in Auburn. It was
Yeah, when you fell on the ball and wouldn't let the officials reset it for Auburn to get one play in the
I can't
SEC,
remember what it was, man, but it was a
14
night
to
game. It
10
was
is
crazy.
92.
It was
Yeah.
92. It was
Yeah,
92, right?
I was in the student section. I remember it very well. It
Oh,
was right in
we were
front of
all
me.
everybody. We all wound up going down there. Yeah, well, you were in a different area. Kevin was
Yeah.
there. He never made it in the game. Not, he just.
Auburn scores a touchdown the play before, and the referee didn't see the ball go over the pylon. And then they don't reset the ball for Auburn to get one more chance. The SEC had to come out on Monday morning and issue an apology to Auburn that the play should have halted because, Vince Dooley or whoever's coaching Georgia, wasn't Vince Dooley, it's Ray Goff, I guess, and his staff,
Yeah, it
they're
was
telling
really
him just
golf.
lay down on the ball, lay down on the ball.
Do
But
you still
hey,
have that big field out there? I saw my one vivid memory is looking at the stadium from out there parked in that field, looking and just
well,
say,
there are fields, and there are a lot of fields covered in parking spots and parking spaces now. But I think the
yeah,
one that
probably
you're
covered
alluding to,
up. Yeah.
yeah, is still around. That
That
was
was
the
good
night I
times
had to
though,
go
man.
pick up Jason Stewart. He got left by the UGA team or whatever it was, because he was part of that deal. I had to had to go pick him up. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I get for having my name in the phone book. I
Georgia
shouldn't have.
Auburn games, man. Those ones in
Oh,
Auburn are just too much. I mean, Kevin will have to tell you about some of the Auburn trips off the camera. But anyway,
let's go to the NFL. The Rams and the Ravens. Stormy takes the Ravens +7. Everybody else with the Rams -7. Right now, the Ravens, they seem like they're in a mess of trouble right now, Danny.
look, they're struggling, and I was big on the Ravens. I think I mean, maybe the second show we might have called them almost a lock for the Super Bowl. We want to talk about putting a jinx on somebody. Man,
I
I
think I
feel
was
like
high on the 49ers, but yeah, go ahead.
Maybe it was me that said that. You usually don't say stuff like that. But I can't go with that. I mean, I'm going to go with the Rams -7. I think you just got to see what happens. I can't pick the Ravens from what you've been seeing out of them lately.
Yeah, I can't fault you there. Speaking of those 49ers that I was pretty bullish on at the beginning of the year, now they have a lot of injuries and they got to go to Tampa Bay now. Fred Blatcher lives in Tampa. He calls Tampa Bay his cardiac kids. The 5 star for him this week is the Buccaneers -3. Danny, I get it. They just find ways to win. They have pulled out 4 victories in the final 60 seconds of those games. They're favored by 3 against a good San Francisco team that's beat up. Do the Buccaneers continue on with their win streak?
I think they do continue going to win streak. And again, I'm hoping they don't. I feel like this will be a game they don't really have to score at the last to win. I think they get a lead and just hold it and shut the 49ers down late. I like the Bucks to cover that.
Okay. We have talked just a little bit earlier about the Titans and the Raiders. The Raiders favored by 6. This was my final of my 3 selections, Titans +6. And you agree with me here. I hate the Raiders are a traditional power from from when we were young kids in the 70s, and they had a good little run into the early 80s and a Super Bowl title when they beat Philadelphia. And they've been in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers in 2002, 2003, around there. But so I sort of hate seeing them struggle in the manner they are. Kind of frustrating. It's just 6 points to me just seem like too many points, Danny.
That's the reason I went with it as well. I just feel like I know you got what in the world is Vegas thinking they got a home team, down by 6 like that? That's a big line. I think it'll probably get a little closer as we get closer to the game, but I'm still going Titans, and I'm taking those 6 points you give me.
Stormy agrees with us with Kevin, Fred, and John taking the Raiders -6. Final NFL game, the Lions and the Chiefs. No one's had a harder schedule than the Chiefs, man. They have played some teams this
Hmm.
year already, and they are favored by 1 at home in a game that they actually need. They're coming off another tough defeat this past Monday Night Football against the Jaguars. This game, the panel, you will break the tie here because John and Stormy have the Chiefs, and Kevin and Fred have the Lions. So you get to break the tie.
I'm gonna break the tie with the Chiefs -1. I mean, you got to think to yourself. I think we said this when they went 0-2 to start with, there was no way they're going 0-3, right? And they didn't. We pulled that off, and this will be in my mind, the season maker for them. They got to win this game, and it's a game. Obviously, it's almost basically a pick them for they're getting got to lay 1 point, but I mean everybody seems to think they should win this, so I think they should too. So that's what I'm going with.
I'm going to get some final thoughts for you, but what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to run everybody's records down, and I'm going to give everybody the 5 star, and then Jake will scroll the teams at the end. Actually, there is time. I will scroll down everybody's. I'm 13-12, 5-1 with the 5 stars. My 5 star this week is Texas -3. I also take the Indiana Hoosiers +7.5. And then in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans +6. Danny is 31-34, but 3-3 in his 5 stars. He's got UCLA +7.5. His 5 stars, the Alabama Crimson Tide -3.5. He goes with Texas -3. He takes the Southern Cal Trojans -1.5. He also goes with the Indiana Hoosiers +7.5, and he's down with the Georgia Bulldogs -3.5. His NFL selections include the Rams +7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, their uniforms looked outstanding last week when they wore their throwbacks at Seattle. He's got the Buccaneers -3. The Titans are +6, and he goes with those Kansas City Chiefs -1. John, 32-33, but 4-2 in his 5 stars. He's got Michigan State -7.5 at home against UCLA. He takes the Crimson Tide of Alabama -3.5. We're on the 2 year anniversary of him nailing the Oklahoma Texas score. He goes to Oklahoma +3. He's got Michigan +1.5 in that road game at Los Angeles against Southern Cal. His 5 stars, the Oregon Ducks -7.5, and he takes his Georgia Bulldogs -3.5. His NFL picks are the Rams -7, the Buccaneers -3, the Raiders +6, the Chiefs -1. Most of those are very common picks with the panel. Fred is 28-37, 2-4 in 5 stars. He's got UCLA +7.5, Alabama minus 3.5. The big matchup in Dallas, he goes with Oklahoma plus 3. He takes Southern Cal as a home team minus 1.5. Oregon minus 7.5. And even though he graduated from Auburn, he likes Georgia minus 3.5. His NFL picks: Rams minus 7. His five-star, the Buccaneers minus 3. I don't know if he'll get back to Tampa in time to see that. I know he'll be in Auburn for the Auburn Georgia game. He might very well be also in Tampa for that 4 o'clock kickoff with Tampa Bay minus 3 hosting San Francisco. He has the Raiders minus 6, and he takes the Detroit Lions plus 1 in the Sunday night game against Kansas City. Stormy, 28 and 37, 3-3 with his five stars. He's on UCLA plus 7.5. Alabama minus 3.5, Oklahoma plus 3, Southern Cal minus 1.5. He likes the Oregon Ducks minus 7.5, and his five-star, the Georgia Bulldogs minus 3.5. In the NFL, he goes with the Ravens plus 7, the 49ers plus 3, the Titans plus 6, and those Chiefs minus 1. Finally, Kevin at 27 and 38, 2-4 in the five stars. UCLA plus 7.5, Alabama minus 3.5. His five-star is Oklahoma plus 3. He's got Michigan plus 1.5, Oregon minus 7.5. Georgia minus 3.5. And in the NFL, he goes with the Ravens minus 7, the Buccaneers minus 3, the Raiders minus 6, and the Lions plus 1. And I apologize to everybody for not covering up my window with the sun coming in and out. It's just created havoc for me on my set today. But Danny, those are the selections. We are opposite of Kevin with that five-star of Oklahoma, and I have my five-star on Texas, but you're with me. And that's probably the game that I'm looking most forward to seeing how Texas responds coming off that loss at Florida, knowing that they've already lost a game to Ohio State. But as far as the SEC goes, they're still very much in the picture.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody thought I was crazy with my fives. Not really crazy, but out there with my 5 star with Florida over Texas. But that's a tough place to go play. And that was a new experience for them, I believe, and they have to do something here. In my mind, I think it's a make or break game for Texas. So I think Sarkisian can do it, and that's why I'm going with that one. I'm looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to Georgia Auburn, and I hope it's a good old fashioned running game like we used to see.
Will you be watching poolside in your backyard?
I am actually going to be watching poolside in my backyard. I'll probably be minus a few chairs since I'm sort of putting some stuff away into storage, but we'll be out there, yeah, watching it on the big screen on the projector. Yep.
If the Bulldogs do triumph, give us 3 Rolling Stones songs that you will listen to that the viewers will be able to listen to and be right there in sync with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with if you want to just get yourself a little pregame pep, get rocks off Exile on Main Street. I Go Wild off of Voodoo Lounge, and then last we're gonna go way back and do something off of do a little Sympathy for the Devil to end the 3 song set there off of Beggar's Banquet.
How about this? In honor of you, I'm going to choose 3 that I'm going to listen to before the game because I might not be able to celebrate after the game, so I'm going to do 3 before the game.
All right,
What about Miss You first? Can I do that?
that's a good one. Yeah, some girls.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to say Painted. I want to say Painted, but no. The third one's got to be Start Me Up. Okay, I
Oh
mean
yeah,
it
we
just
got
has.
that one.
I mean,
But you go,
but what?
Miss You Under My Thumb. That's one of your favorites.
Oh yeah, let's do Under My Thumb second, even though that this doesn't leave any room for As Tears Go By. But that could be like
You can hear
that.
that after the game as tears
That's what I
go.
was going to
That'll
say
be
too. Yeah, that's true. So I'm going to go with Miss You, Under
Under
My
My
Thumb,
Thumb.
and Start Me Up. All
Start me
right.
up. Yeah, I got
Hey,
you.
it worked when I had that thing in there that starts with an A and ends with an X. I was asking it to like play the FSU war chant before the FSU Alabama game
Yeah.
this year. It worked beautiful. Okay, so
Hey, I was going to another little thing as we're ending it with goofy stuff. How about old Gus Malzahn's dive just doesn't work as good without On Johnson, does it?
no,
The other night I
no.
was sitting there like, if he had a running back that could execute like your 2 running back, what was the other guy's name in 17? It was On and can't
Oh
remember if that
well,
was
Trey.
Barber.
Oh well, yeah. Peyton Barber was there for a little bit. If that's who, I don't know if that's who
I
you're
think
talking about.
maybe
I
that's
was
it is, but y'all he could get that misdirection going, man.
absolutely. That's back when Auburn used to run jet sweeps. Also, we don't know what's happened to that play calling as well.
It was
That's
amazing what his offense used to do, man.
Ontario McCaleb was just so fast and so yeah. Anyways, good
I
memories.
hated him.
Danny, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I hope that you enjoy all the football this weekend, and I know you've been a busy guy the last couple of days, so I really appreciate you taking time to stop in and talk football.
Yep, had a good time. It's gonna be a fun
All right,
weekend.
all right, buddy. That's Danny Arp in LaGrange, Georgia, for Jake Barton in Noonan, Georgia. I'm Tony. Friends call me AJ here in Auburn, Alabama. We'll see you next time right here on Talking with Tony.